Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here, and with a what I think is not really a horror movie, Gremlins from 1984. This movie gets a 7.5. I understand why it gets 7.5, but it gets a 6.5 from me. That's still high. That's still high. I actually want to now. I would give it a 5.5. It's not a movie that I wouldn't want to see every month, but it's more of a sentimental value. As a kid, I loved this movie. I love this movie. You got great actors. You've got Zach Galligan, Billy, our main male character, then our main female character, Phoebe Cates. You've got Corey Feldman, and I believe that Corey Feldman was just before Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. And then at the end, at the third part of Friday the 13th, he already started with the Goonies. I, or I think he did two movies at once, the Goonies and then the last part of Friday the 13th, final chapter. And Dick Miller, underrated actor. I like him. I like him, but he's so underrated. He's always underused. He's a side character. Like in the Terminator, he owns the gun shop, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger takes a bullet, puts it in the right gun. Hey, you can't do that. Wrong. Or in The Howling, I mean, this movie is directed by Joe Dante, and he's a prolific uh, horror maker. In the 70s and 80s, The Piranha, The Howling, Masters of Horror, that's a TV series, and a few more. They also did the horror comedy The Burbs with Tom Hanks, also with Corey Feldman and Dick Miller as a garbage man. But Dick Miller in The Howling, he owns this occult shop, and somebody who wants to save his friend from the werewolves, takes a bunch of silver bullets he has in a case, and he drops a few 50, like $200 or something like that, and he says, "Hey, wait! I got to have them appraised." And then he says, "Bill me." Now he has to know what they're worth, of course, the silver price, but yeah, we know the story. So Billy gets a mogwai from his dad, uh, and um, Gizmo, of course, nickname Gizmo. We know you can't put water on them and you can't feed them after midnight. Now, at some point, Corey Feldman is named Pete. He comes in and he knocks over a glass of water over Gizmo, and they're popping like 5 eggs out. And at some point, you got 5 mogwais, one with a white stripe, who's the leader of the rest of these. But these are aggressive ones. He said, Corey Feldman says, Pete says, "Can I have one?" And he takes one and he gets bitten by one. Oh, and like this and that. So now the movie does, there are people getting killed in this movie. You have the cringy Mrs. Mrs. Cringe, of Christmas, who wants Billy's dog killed because the dog destroyed one of her garden gnomes, and like a family says to her, can I pay the bill next month for our apartment? She says, if you do not pay tomorrow, you're gone. Like this, she's a witch of a woman, shitty witch, but she gets what she deserves. I mean, at some point, and that's a horrifying. There's this one horrifying scene, two horrifying scenes. You've got the scene with when the gremlins eat after they basically they 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 try. What did they do? Oh yeah, yeah, they played a ruse on Billy and set the clock on 9 o'clock, but it was actually midnight, and he didn't notice, and he gave him chicken wings, and eventually they become these gremlins, the reptilian looking creepy gremlins. And I have to say they're creepy. I mean, for a kid, this is a horror movie for sure, for sure. And you've got that scene with that song in the background. I don't know what I do. And then a gremlin attacks her and bites her in the neck, and she puts the gremlin in the microwave oven, and it explodes. And then she takes a butcher knife and kills another one with like stabbing it 20 fucking times. She she puts one in the blender, puts the blender on. I mean, she uh, and then yeah, then you got the one hidden in the Christmas tree, and he's attacking her and scratching her. She's bleeding, and Billy comes home with his dad, but they have this medieval sword on the wall, and he takes the sword and hacks the gremlin's head off. So yeah, there are horrifying moments. The only I saw in on the genres on IMDb, it had like quirky humor, dark humor, supernatural, um, and it had one horror element, and it was supernatural horror. Yeah. So from the moment that the not the last gremlin is the stripes, they call them stripes, the one with the white punker hair, they, he goes after him. He goes to the municipal pool, and he jumps in the water, and of course he creates an army of gremlins. And also you got the bio teacher who gets killed, and they find his body full of needles in his ass. So okay, so like I said, people do get killed. So and then Miss Dick Miller, Mr. Anderson, he said, "Yeah, do you know the story of gremlins?" And this is, I looked it up. This is apparently a true myth. In World War II, jet fighters crashed without any explanation. They were fine, but they said some people who survived said they saw a creature gnawing on the tubings and pulling the electrics apart, and gremlins. There's a Twilight Zone episode, black and white, with the gremlin who looks like a fuzzy bear, but okay, and he's taking he takes this metal plate from it. This is in an airplane, and he takes this metal plate and he starts to rip everything off. You got an episode of The Simpsons with Bart Simpson on the school bus with the gremlin. Uh, I mean, this had a big influence. Gremlins. But if I have to choose, this one's the better one than the second one. The second one is it's that's too much comedy. That's kitsch comedy, cheesy comedy. Still a fun movie to watch, but this one is this one is a little bit more eerier. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Because at the very end, when he kills, he when all the gremlins are killed because they're in a theater, and the theater is set on fire, and they all died. They were all lured into the theater. Then you still have Stripe, and he's the leader, and they go in this warehouse, and then you have this battle between Stripes and Billy, and you have this moment where he hits Billy in the head and with a baseball bat, and he's bleeding. Then he's shooting these baseballs, with those baseball shooting things where you can hit with a baseball. That you don't need somebody to throw it, and it fucking hurts. Those balls fucking hurt. And then he there's this creepy scene where he's coming out of the clothes with this chainsaw, like out of the clothes like this, and then with a chainsaw in his hands, and then eventually it has a cord, and then he because he runs towards Billy, he falls, and the chainsaw is pulling him. Uh, he is pulling him with him through the store. Eventually, he gets a revolver, and yeah, sorry, spoilers. Sorry, I know, but come on, Gremlins. Everybody's seen this movie, right? Then Gizmo comes in as Rambo Gizmo, and he's in this toy car, and he crashes the toy car into a window, and it's already sunny outside. Daylight outside. They can't have daylight, and the gremlin starts to completely dissolve, and you see the eyeball falling out. I mean, there are creepy moments. Actually, yeah, it's a horror movie. Yeah, it's a horror movie. Now that I think about it, it's a horror movie. Corey Feldman, I liked when he barricaded himself in his house, and the gremlins are attacking him, and he puts he takes these hedge scissors, and he cuts one of the wires with the lightings on, and they fall, and then he takes a slingshot and puts something in one of the gremlin's eyes, and it's I liked him. I like Corey Feldman. I always liked Corey Feldman. The Burbs was his last good movie, in my opinion. I always liked Corey Feldman. The Goonies, Friday the 13th, Part 4, Gremlins. Corey Feldman is a good kid actor. He was a good. Uh, Stand by Me. Yeah, and Dick Miller has this snowplower machine, and then the gremlin comes in, and he drives through his house, and he says, "It's a gremlin! It's a gremlin! It's a damn gremlin!" But they survive, because in the second movie the second movie plays in New York, and he's there with his wife, so he survives. But now he has proof that the gremlins are weird, are real because, like I said, he was a veteran who flew a M52 bomber or something from World War II jet fighters. Uh, but it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. Uh, Gizmo is super cute. Uh, Phoebe Cates, Zach Galligan, Corey Feldman, their acting is on par. Dick Miller too. They're all you got what's his name, Judge Judge Reinhold in there, who plays the he wants Billy works in the bank and he wants Billy's job. He wants the job of manager, and then he would immediately fire Billy, but he also gets at some point what he deserves. And yeah, and you've got this cool scene in the bar where Phoebe Cates was working, and there you see all these gremlins doing different things. You got a table with stripes, and they're playing poker, and one cheated, and he takes a revolver out and she just shoot one. Then you've got one who's doing the flash dance, like with the legs, and then it's funny. It's fun. They're all having fun, and they're singing and holding each other, and then with the beers in their hands. It's they're fun times. They're creepy times. They're cheesy times, but the acting is really good. Joe Dante is a good director, but the thing is, nowadays he's apparently directing Hawaii Five O. What a shit show! I mean, like all those cop TV series, like NCIS, what New York or whatever. It's like the actors who play in those movies, those TV series are like they can't get a job anymore, and that's the only thing they can get. You know, but Joe Dante is, especially in the 70s and the 80s, he did some great work with a few good horror movies. Like I said, Piranha, The Howling, The Burbs. He made The Burbs too. The Master of Horror TV series, Master of Horror, um, and a few more. A few more. I mean, yeah, it's definitely worth. If you've never seen this before, shame on you because this is a classic. And sorry for to spoil it, but please forgive me. Subscribe for more horror fun, and see you next time. Bye bye.